Hi. Good to see everyone joining in. Hi. After a long time, we're back. So today's live is very interesting and different. Let me just write what it's about so I can tell you. So good to see everyone. Thanks for being here. Today our live is with grooming and etiquette expert Rukshana Eisa. I'm back and I'm doing lives again pretty regularly now. Sorry for the break in the middle, but I just felt like it was an internet overload. So today, firstly, I want to say a big thank you to everyone, as today we've crossed 13,000 followers on our Instagram. Thanks to a lot of people, supporting me, commenting, sharing my stories. We're growing our community daily. So a big thank you to everyone, because 13,000 is a big number and I'm really grateful. So thanks for that. So let me tell you a little bit about Rukshana. Rukshana Eisa is a grooming and etiquette expert. She's actually the first place where I did my internship and got a job with her, and she gave me the opportunity to shadow her, go on different work trips with her, learn more about the business, and I think that's where my love for networking came from. So she even trains Miss Indias, and different corporates, talks to you about grooming, etiquette, social etiquette, and networking. So let me get her on board. Hi to everyone saying hi, and thank you for the congratulations, Ashita, and hi Hiral, hi Bhumi, hi everyone that's here. I will just bring Rukshana on. If you have questions, to leave her. Today we're talking all things grooming, etiquette, and I'm sure you're going to love it. Thanks, Avisha. I'm just waiting for her to come. Hi.
Hi, Shan. How are you?
How are you?
Very well, thank you. Thank you for having me on today.
I'm so excited to have you here. I was just telling everyone how my first job, my first internship was with you.
You remember that?
Of course, and thank you for that, because I think that you gave me the confidence to like go out and just do something that, and I think I learned so many things working with you during that time. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it.
How are you doing? How's it going in the lockdown?
It's good. It hasn't been that bad, I have to confess.
Yeah.
It's not been bad.
We're lucky to be at home and quarantining at home, like they say, but at least with family, and it's a good feeling, right?
Absolutely. It's given me chance to completely recharge my batteries, do things differently, look at life differently, not take things for granted like we used to, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So today we're chatting with you about all things grooming, all things etiquette, because I know that you're the master of it, of course. But I'd love to hear from you before we start a little bit about how you describe what you do.
Okay. So I, of course, I'm a grooming and etiquette expert, and I've been training people from all walks of life, corporates, individuals, homemakers, celebrities, and of course the Miss Indias, anybody who wants to improve themselves. Basically what I do is teach people how to behave appropriately in the business and social world. That's it.
Yeah.
So, and I love what I do. You know that.
I know you love what you do, and I think my mom was the happiest, because when I came home saying a few things that I learned, she's like, I've been saying this for a long time, but you don't listen to me.
Whoever listens to their own mother.
Whoever listens to their own mother, absolutely. But so I've actually been there for your your courses, and it's fun because you teach so many different things, and every day is a new day. But I'm going to get into a bit of the details, and I want to start asking you by, have you moved online in a period like this? Have you started training online currently?
Shan, you know that my courses are normally one-on-ones. They're very interactive. Yes. So I haven't. And I have a confession to make. I am not really tech savvy. But I have to move with the times, you know that. So I'm started working on my modules, changing them around, and very soon updating my website. So I'm going to be starting to do online courses, and
Yeah, I think that's the
challenging,
need
but
of
I'm
the
looking
hour.
forward to it. Yes.
It's the need of the hour, right? Everyone's moving
Totally,
digital.
totally. And I'll reach out to
Absolutely.
you for help if I need any.
Of course, anytime.
Thank you.
But I also want to know, people talk a lot about the first impression, and we do networking events. And I know that I have people who come to me and they say, Shan, I'm so nervous. I'm always in the corner of the room. I can't introduce myself. And I know you talk a lot about first impressions. So
Right.
can you tell us a little bit about that? How important is the first impression?
First impression is the most lasting impression,
Yeah.
Shani. So when somebody walks into a room, you're being sized up. And what are they looking for? They're looking at your appearance, they're looking at your body language, they're looking at your facial expression, how you conduct yourself in those first few 5 seconds. And they make an opinion, and that stays. So that's why they say when you walk into that room, that first impression has to be a 10 on 10. There has to be no room for any slip ups. So that's why they say it's so important.
Okay, and I'm also going to ask you if you could share maybe 1 or 2 pointers with us. How do you make the perfect first impression? Because when we're taught so often, at least when we're kids. I know my mom always says, do this, or like tie up your hair or whatever. That's just going out socially. But in a business setting, how do you make that first impression meaningful?
Firstly, let me tell you, everybody has butterflies in their stomachs, whether it's
Yeah.
my Miss India girls or it's a person going for their interview or networking, anybody.
Yeah.
But you have to tweak it a little bit. You can fake it. You take a deep breath, breathe deep through your mouth, through your nose, out through your mouth, walk into the room and appear to be confident. Confidence is the key here. Of course, grooming is very, very important. So you look the part. You're well dressed. If you need to go on the net, you need information, by all means do so. Look the part, be perfectly groomed, walk in with an air of confidence, and of course, the handshake. Go, introduce yourself with a handshake and say, hi, I'm Rukshana, nice to meet you. And of course, the person will say their names. But you have to appear to be confident. You have to be different. You have to make that impact.
Yeah, I think that's important. And this is something a friend had told me a while ago. She says, I used to always feel people think I'm very confident as a person.
But you
But
are.
I am, but in some respect, I do have a sense of, I feel nervous. And I'm sure everyone has that. But a friend told me, she's like, imagine in your head that you own the room. And, I started doing that. And it actually helped me a lot.
Is that right?
Yeah, I think because it's like you said, give yourself the confidence. Walk in like with your confidence.
Absolutely. So it's an affirmation you tell yourself and then you just practice it and you do own the room then.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so I'm going to ask you next. You do talk a lot about small talk, and I know that a lot of people find this very difficult to do. I think this is a thing that everyone says, I don't know how to make small talk. Can you tell us a few things about that and how we can do that?
Okay. So, of course, asking open-ended questions is the key here. I've lost you for a bit, Shan.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay. In small talk, there's certain topics that are completely taboo, which we should never, ever touch upon when you meet somebody for the first time. Okay. And those would be like personal questions or religion or politics. Reason being they're controversial. Okay. So you want to make that perfect first impression. Don't broach on those taboo topics. Stay away from them. Make them only general. A great opening line would be, it's so lovely to meet you and what do you do? So that's an opening line which you can start a conversation with and then you take it forward. Okay?
Yes.
So what can you talk about? People say, all right, you tell me the taboo topics. Don't broach on those. You won't. You can talk about so many general things which are non-controversial. It could be food, theater, art, movies, cinema, anything. Just current affairs, of course, very, very important, but you have to be well versed with it yourself. Don't delve into a subject that you're not comfortable with and then go, oops, So just make it very easy, eye contact, not very unnerving, just normal flow.
Okay, yeah. So I think that's a very important thing to remember because bringing up politics is it's such a touchy topic.
Touchy and controversial, and then your views and mine might not match, and the person would say, hey, I don't want to spend time with her, and there goes that impression, there goes your networking. So you have to be very, very careful of what you say.
Yeah, Yeah, absolutely. The other thing that I want to ask you is, recently I've had a lot of my members of my platform tell me we're lazy. Now in this lockdown, we're not motivated, and we don't want to do anything. So and I'm very big on keeping up with the times. I'm very big on learning new things. So what's
Right.
your take been? Because I know you have a young daughter as well. So how's that?
Who's very, very hardworking and
Very hardworking and
yeah,
has her own
absolutely.
interiors practice as
Yes,
well.
no,
So
she works with my husband, who's an
okay.
interior designer as well. Yes, she works
Yes.
under his umbrella, but yeah, they're working all the time. So I have to say, I must confess, I took a little advantage of this period, but I realized, yeah, one has to get into work mode. And by
Yes.
sitting on your bed, it's not going to happen. So
Yeah.
you have to get out, make a little workspace if you have the luxury of space, move to that area, try and not work in pajamas and use your bed as a base, because that takes away from the office environment. Okay?
Yeah.
So first and foremost is my diary. I have a routine. Then you write your schedule for the day and keep tick marking at the end of the day. Gives you a sense of accomplishment. You've done so much. And if you make that little workspace like an office, it will be a working day. But mind you, one thing, keep in mind, don't go beyond the hours that you're scheduling for work. Because when you're in that work mode, it can go on and on and on. Don't do that. So like office hours, if you have a 10 to 5 day, try and keep it to that.
Yeah. Okay, great. Those are great points. I think I need to start making a to-do list. Yeah.
Office space, all right. This is my office
Yeah.
space behind.
Yeah, it's lovely. And I think to be surrounded by a very positive space really helps.
Oh, yes. And quiet. You need no distractions.
You need no distractions.
That's
So
right.
my mom is here and she says, Rukshi's just the best. Every human being needs to be groomed with her kids and grown-ups.
Oh, that's lovely. I adore her, your mom. You know that.
Yes, and I think she introduced me also at the right time, because even things like, which we're going to come to later, which is like table settings,
Yes.
and this is so important, which is never really taught unless your mother teaches you at home.
Right.
So I think that's really important too. I want to ask you another thing, which is I've done a video on this actually because it's email etiquette. It's something that people just don't understand.
Correct.
And even when they're applying for a job, I see so many people tell me, "Hey, Shana, I got an email saying, hi, is the position open? This is my name, number, call me." How do I? That's the worst first impression ever.
Worst way, absolutely.
Yeah.
Just
so
as,
is there
sorry,
something
I'm
like
sorry.
email etiquette?
Yes, absolutely. Just as you make a first impression physically, an email, when you're sending out for the first time, has to be written like a formal letter. Only thing, it's more precise and more concise. So you address it as a dear, whoever you're addressing.
Yeah.
Then a little introduction on yourself, like you said, hey, call me, whatever. So I'm Rukshana, so on and so forth. Then the matter. Make it very brief, but that's the substance of your mail, and a conclusion. Looking forward to hearing from you. Thank you.
Okay.
It's very important to write
So
it as a formal letter. Even if somebody takes the liberty of a you or a hi, you wouldn't. At least I wouldn't. Okay? And sending out a good email is very, very important. Makes a huge first impression. So spell check your email, proofread it, make sure you check who you're sending the copy to. Does it need to be read? Information to be given or not? All that is very, very important. But just keep in mind, formal letter, brief, and to the point.
Yeah.
Answer it. If somebody does send you an email within 24 hours, you should reply to the email.
Yeah, absolutely. And another thing is a lot of people, if they send an email, like after a networking event, you get everyone's cards and you start emailing them and they don't reply. People keep on emailing. That's not something you should do.
That is not, no.
Yeah.
You could have one follow-up email, just a gentle reminder, we met at this occasion, etc. But beyond that, no. That's a message saying that we're not going to revert. So,
yeah. I agree. And what about cell phone etiquette at events, be it a social or a work-related event?
Keep your cell phone on silent mode, absolutely silent. If you need to take a call, step outside. You obviously have a vibrator tone on your phone, use that. Step outside, make it brief, come back. It is very rude to keep answering phone calls in front of people, especially when you're in a conversation. And now it's just become a part of life. People are constantly on their phones and talking to you. I find that very, very rude and very invasive. But this is the world for you today, Shan. So I don't know how, I I holler from rooftops. Please give undivided attention when you're talking to somebody. Use your cell phones in areas that, where you can step out, make the call, come back in. Ringtone has to be professional, at least in a business environment. You can't have a song blaring suddenly in the middle of a meeting. Meetings is absolutely a no-no. Turn your phone upside down when you're in a meeting. You can't keep looking at your phone. That's just not acceptable. Okay? I could go on for hours. And of course, that your airports and your airlines and all those are absolute no-nos, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that that's, phone etiquette is the most important, because we're so obsessed with our phones today that
Absolutely.
you give someone that undivided attention.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah. And
you wake up in the morning and you reach for your phone. I think most people do that, don't they?
No, but I've got a new rule in the lockdown, and it's really helped me. When I wake up in the morning, I keep my phone aside and I have my coffee without my phone.
How do you do that?
I just manage somehow, and it's
Fantastic.
made a world of a difference to my life, because I feel like I'm calmer. I start my day on a more calm note. Then otherwise, scrolling through Instagram and replying to messages first thing is just not.
And you must be having a host of them coming in every morning because your work's online.
Yeah.
But that's something I'm going to teach. Thank you for in my courses. It's a good idea. Get up in the morning, have your coffee without your phones. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
So we have Help Me Please Nidhi, who's here, and she asks a question. Well, it's more of messaging that people keep doing. It's very annoying as well. So she's making a statement about at events. Is that another thing you face?
Yeah, messaging at the event itself?
Yeah, while talking to you and people are just messaging rather than picking up calls. It's quite annoying, actually.
That's very annoying. It's telling the other person you're not important enough. I'm giving priority to my message, to sending my message out rather than looking at you. They say even if it's for 2 minutes you're talking to somebody, why can't you give undivided attention? You can say, send the message after you say, excuse me, it was lovely talking to you, but I need to send a message out, or I need to take an urgent call, and then step out and send your message. Yeah. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, that is definitely, absolutely. Another thing I want to ask you is things like table settings.
Yes.
Eating with the right fork and spoon.
Right.
So tell us a little bit about your process through your workshops. You do take workshops about these,
right? I do detailed workshops, and strangely enough, most of my clients want the fine dining because it is confusing and it's embarrassing. No matter how affluent you are, sometimes you don't eat like that at home. So it is confusing. Just one rule of thumb. Let's say you're in a fine dining restaurant and you see loads of cutlery placed on either side. Work your way outwards in. So the outermost cutleries which you start picking up, and then you work your way inwards. Okay, so you don't get confused. If at all you are confused, what spoon should I use? What fork should I use? And you're sort of in a mess, look at the host and see what they use. Generally, follow the lead of the host. Okay, but everything is there online, and I do these in-depth courses. I actually teach you how to use the cutlery, which, strangely enough, because we eat with our hands in our country, and it's normal. People generally have great difficulty using a knife and a fork. So I do workshops all over the country where I'm actually walking through, teaching people how to hold a knife and a fork, which is not, it's okay.
So I think it's much needed. Like you said, you can be in however affluent, but you may not know what to do. And then what if you're at a business meeting and you're taken to a fine dine restaurant, and then you're like, okay, where do I look now?
I'll share a story with you. Most of my corporate clients that I train, when it's higher management and their employees are sent abroad, it's all about dining. They say that our Indian counterparts, gentlemen are not invited, or ladies, to dinners because they're not comfortable eating and they don't know how to eat. So when it comes to business, they're fabulous at what they do, but train them on dining. So we do these extensive dining courses on just how to eat, or to read a menu, because a lot of them are vegetarian and it's difficult when you're abroad. So it's very, very important today.
Yeah, absolutely. And some things, like I feel like small things where you don't know, some people don't even know which is the wine glass and the champagne glass. So do the basics.
I do all of that, yes, all the basics. See, there's a lot of information online which you can get, but the whole program that we have devised is to take you through the basics right through the wine and everything. So we complete the whole fine dining sort of
Okay.
program
Yeah, the whole process, knowing, yeah,
process. Sorry,
that's
yes,
amazing.
yes.
Yeah. So we have a comment actually from Shreya Peshabria who says, Rukshana is such an elegant lady. Please
Oh.
share her makeup details. They're so subtle. How sweet.
You think so? Thank you. You know, I've been passionate about makeup ever since I was
You
a little
have.
girl. I have, and I don't even step downstairs to a banya shop without putting just a little bit of basic lipstick. So,
Yeah.
I just have always I've grown up doing makeup. I don't know your mother and I used to model in the old days, and in those days we never had makeup artists, so we had to learn to do our own makeup. So I think it started from there, and you just got better at doing it. And then you watch videos, and if you have a passion, it gets better and better. So
Yeah.
subtle is the art. Let me tell you, Shreya, did Shreya ask that question?
Yeah, Shreya.
Okay. Shreya, you can wear loads of makeup. I haven't got, it's not that minimal, but it's the blending. The blending makes it look subtle. So you can put one blotch of blush and look like a clown, and you can blend it and you can look subtle. So it's just the art of making up. Yeah. Alternatively, join a makeup. Sorry, dear.
You've learned over the years, I think, because you teach
Over the
it,
year.
plus you model. So I think it comes from practice.
Practice and passion more than anything else.
Yep, absolutely. Another thing I want to ask you is a little bit about, this is something I get a sense from a lot of people, is body language. And this is a very big thing because I feel a lot of people don't realize they come across nervous sometimes. Or, I always say this, and I know it's very easy for a confident person to say, come in the center of the room, introduce yourself, don't be nervous. But I can say it 800 times, but that person, I mean, everyone's different. So what's your take on body language and making the right, impression with your body?
So body language, everything you do with your body sends out a message. There's positive body language and negative body language. You may you lose me right now. Okay.
Yeah.
But if you're slouching, you're sending out a message saying that you're not a confident person. So you just have to stand tall, shoulders back, stomach tucked in, looking very, very confident at eye level. Don't saying that you're not confident. Your chin should not be too high up, straight, parallel to the floor. Okay. So you enter a room. You look at the most friendly face and walk up to the person. And of course, you have to get the courage to go and introduce yourself and greet them, okay? With the right body. So you're standing tall, you're looking good. Things you shouldn't be doing is crossing your arms in front of you. This says that I've got a barrier in front of me. Hands should always be visible, okay? So you use your hands, but you don't throw them in people's faces. You bring... And what else? Eye contact. When we say body language, the most important. Okay, somebody could be reserved and just shy and not make eye contact and look away and talk like this. The interpretation is that you're a dishonest person. It's really sad, but that's what it means. Yes. So please look at the triangle of the face and make eye contact. What is the correct way of doing it? If I do this, Shan, and stare at you, that's direct eye contact, but that's not correct. So short, frequent glances is how you should be looking at somebody and talking, not unnerving, okay? And very comfortable. So, okay. Another thing, looking away and talking to somebody over your shoulder. This is negative body language. Please don't do that. You excuse yourself from the person you're talking to. So give me a minute. Let me say hello to Shan. Hi, Shan. Give the whole frontal. I'll just come back in a minute and then go again. So when you're talking to somebody, make sure eye contact, facing the person, standing tall, using hands, and communicating. If that helps a little bit.
Wow, these are great points, because I think a lot of us don't know, like even I don't know sometimes, when I'm at an event, and you're right, many people approach you at one time. And then how do you kind of maneuver between talking to three different people?
That's right.
Without
so you excuse yourself. Yeah. As long as whoever you're talking to, you turn and face. You never look over your shoulder. Okay. So that's like a pointer.
Awesome. And we have Vipul Bhagat here who says, I was there when I did your makeup when you guys were models. And he says hello.
Hi, Vipul. How are you?
Good to see him here as well. I want to bring up another topic, which is something, Mom and I argue about a lot actually, is appropriate attire. For business, because I'm in the networking field, but what is the appropriate attire to go to a networking event? Because we keep ours slightly more casual, but how casual is too casual?
Okay, so you would fall into office attire because you are in, it's a working day for you all.
Yes.
However, once it passes 7 o'clock in the evening, it becomes more relaxed. So you can dress up what you're wearing. Of course, you don't wear the backless and the low cleavage and the cutaway sleeves. So you have to wear office attire, but you can accessorize it. It looks, and of course you can wear evening, fabric can be a little more elaborate. It doesn't have to be linens and cottons that you would normally wear on working day, but definitely not too much exposure. Okay?
So I think that's important. Yeah.
That is an absolute no-no. And sleeveless or halters, all that is no. So office attire is a completely different ball game where you have, you have to wear a collared shirt, no lycra fabric, which is fitting, very fitted. Like I said, no exposure, long sleeves. No. So, all that falls into office attire. I'm not asking you to wear a jacket or be completely formal, but definitely not what you would be normally wearing to a party. So if you think you're going to wear that little short black dress and exposing those legs, that's the no-no. You stick to the skirt length, which is 4 inches above the knee and no higher.
Okay, lovely. So that's a great point.
That would fall. If you're wearing Indian attire, if you're wearing a sari, then of course you wear it a little more traditionally. You don't let it, wear the whole backless blouse. You just wear a nice, it can be sexy, but it doesn't have to be exposed. I mean, your flesh doesn't need to be exposed, for a better way of saying that.
Understood. Yeah, I want to ask you also, before we talk a little bit about your journey with Miss India, I want to ask you if you could just tell us maybe one absolute do at a networking event and an absolute don't at a networking event. Maybe like one thing that stands out for you,
Okay. Networking, as I said earlier, is about building relationships. Okay. So just be different and be a fantastic conversationalist. Know your job. Sorry, there are 3 things. Okay. So know your material, know what you're going with. Make that impact. That first impression has to be fantastic. Don't scan the room and, 2 or 3 people is who you should target, and make sure that you've made an impression. So that's very, very important. And follow up. Once you go, then the email follows up. It was lovely meeting you, so on and so forth. But just be very, very impressive in that first meeting.
Awesome. And what about a no-no? Like one thing.
Don't get drunk. Don't get drunk. The taboo topics I talked about, personal. Are you married? Are you single? That's not your business. Religion, anything controversial, absolutely steer clear from. And don't oversell. Don't oversell. People at a networking event think that by pushing they can get things done. It's a complete put off. Don't do it.
I completely agree. An oversell is a complete put off.
It's a put off. It's a put off.
You probably wouldn't do business with that person.
No, it's a deterrent. Absolutely. Even if I think of doing something, if somebody comes on too strong, that's a no-no for me, which is a no-no for most people.
Yes, absolutely agree. And I also want to ask you about your experience with the Miss Indias. You do train them year after year. And how's that?
It's been 2 decades, Shan, and I love what I do. Can I boast a little bit? I know I'm sounding pompous, but
please.
3 titles in the recent past. 2016, Mr. World was Rohit Khandelwal, wonderful gentleman. 2017, Manushi Chiller, Miss World. And this year, 2019, Suman Rao, second runner-up. I had the privilege of training them all 3. So
wow. And you're getting lots of thumbs ups and
really?
And people saying they agree. So I know you've done a fabulous job, and it's not easy because I think that there are small things which you teach, which I had never even known before I came to your class. So how long is the process to train them? Must be taking quite a bit of time.
It does. You can divide it. It's either two long days, so it's like 12 hours of work, or you can space it out, because when I have outstation clients coming in, they can't do a 2-day program. So what they do is 2 hours, the outstation clients would do 2 days in a row, but the others would space it out once a week for 2 months. It's 8 sessions.
Oh, wow.
It all depends on the client. I customize every program for the clients. So, depends on what they want. Some people may not want to stress too much on business etiquette or, on attire. They have different
Attire.
wants, different needs. So I will make the program out for them the way they want to.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And now let's get to the main thing. How does one get in touch with you? How does one attend some of your courses? Because now is the time, everyone has the time, to pay more attention to learning and themselves. So what's the best way to contact you?
The best way would be to DM me or send me an email. Can I share my email ID with you?
Yes.
It's Rukshana, all small, dot Image Inc., which is my company, IMAGEINC @gmail.com.
Okay. I'll just type it here while I'm talking to you.
Okay, you want me to repeat it?
No, rukshana.imaging@gmail.com. I've added it.
Thank you so much.
Anyone
or Instagram, just DM is good enough. We'll get back to you.
Okay, great. And I'll never forget now that we're talking about this one thing that I learned with you, which I do every time at my events, is when somebody gives me a business card, I read it first and then put it in my pocket, in my bag.
Absolutely. Very, very important. Yes.
It's small things that make a difference.
Also, can I share with you if you've met too many people at an event and you have several cards, when you go back, just jot down, not in their presence, but jot down your conversation with them. So later on, you can always use that. And it's a great networking tool because they'll say, wow, she remembered, the conversation. It could be anything. It could be their son graduating and, you've jotted it down. So you can ask that when you meet next. So that's a great tool.
Oh, yeah, that's great. So people really think that, you thought about this and you paid attention.
Which you have actually written down. Correct.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. It's been so lovely chatting with you. I'll never forget that my journey began with you. And, it was such a pleasure to learn from you every day. And you giving me that chance. And I think that's the most important, is just giving someone a chance. And then, they kind of take it on from there. So thank you for that.
You were a star student. You always were. I always told Mom you were super bright. So you were an absolute superstar. So thank you. Thank you.
But I'll never forget that. So thank you. And I will definitely be sharing this video on my IGTV. And if anyone wants to contact you, I'll share your email address. And I hope that you'll be announcing an online course soon so we can all attend it and, learn from you again.
Thank you. I look forward to doing that soon too. Thank you so much, Shan, for having me on today.
See you soon.
See you. Bye, dear.
Bye. Bye.
Big hug to your mom.
Yes, absolutely. She's been watching.
Okay.
Oh, my mother has written, lovely interview. Rukshi is the best.
Oh, really? Thank you.
And Shreya Peshavria says it was a lovely session, ladies. And you're getting a lot of thumbs ups as well. Zara Isa is here. Hi, Zara. And she says it was fab.
Hey. Did she see it?
Yes. So great. Thank you so much and see you soon.
Thank you, Shan. Thank you so much.